Right, Northerners United back again. Special guest today. We got Sam from Preston, like me, but he is a Liverpool fan. um, no, obviously he knows his stuff. He'll tell you himself. He goes home and away with virtually every game. He's a bit of a madness, but yeah, there's no one better to talk to when it comes to Liverpool, and obviously with that linked in the Premier League, have a bit of chat about work as well. But yeah, what's your thoughts on the way it's all? Well, it appears to have ended with Liverpool and that.
Well, I think for me personally, obviously, it's going to be heart wrenching, really, because it always seems to be something that stops us from winning it year in year out. It's whether that be, well, I mean, for years on end we were terrible, and then we got like 01 or 02, we become second, and 08 or 09 we come second, 13, 14, and then obviously the infamous Gerrard slip and all that. But it was silly, and you've got last year it was down to our own faults again, and then you can go back again to the away at City, and it was 2 millimeters not like from going fully in, and
yeah.
And now this season seems to be. It was almost like, as silly as it sounds, and it sounds like you're playing the victim a little bit, but it sounds like you're always waiting for something to go wrong. Yeah, because we've been. Because I don't quite buy into that narrative that the league's been poor this season, because surely if everyone else is beating everyone else, then that's competitive. Surely, am I not right in saying that? But we're just better than the rest.
Yeah.
We're blowing teams away, and it's and we've not been brilliant. There's probably 50% of the time we've not been up to it. Really quite slow in games. Then we've come away. We've woke up a bit. We've blown teams away.
You have. I think when I've been watching you, I've found that you have, like, you've been grinding out results. It's them. I remember watching you against Villa away. You're probably there. He scored that header, didn't he? And it was like into the side netting from an obtuse angle, and it was just ridiculous. But they're the kind of games where you've got to win. I remember when we had Van Persie, and those games that he won for you. It's them crucial goals: 1-0s, 3-2s, 2-1s. They get you the 3 points, and I think it's mad, isn't it? How you've only lost. Well, you've not. Well, you've lost one game, and you've drew one, and the others you just won every single one. It's been relentless, hasn't it? How's it been watching them like live every single?
Well, I've been to probably about this season for about 50% of the games. tend to go away when I do home. To be honest with you, this season it's been quite frustrating in patches, because it's sort of like we've not sort of played brilliantly, but it's a strange mentality. It's almost like it's almost like watching United under Fergie, knowing that it's not great this, or it's great this, either way, and just in the back of your mind going, well, it doesn't really matter how we're playing, and I'm frustrated it's because we're going to win at some point.
Yeah,
and that's almost what it's been like. It's strange, and I've not, especially in my lifetime, I've not felt that in a team that no matter how it's going, we're all right, we'll just win anyway.
Yeah, I think when you watch them, there's so many ways you can score from. You've got your crosses from corners, for example. You've got Van Dijk and Matip, and big plays in the box. And then you've got your wide players. You've got your Salahs, your Manes, Firmino linking it all up, essentially bypassing the midfield a lot as well. And then you've got your crosses from wide with Robertson and Arnold as well. And I think they've got double-figure assists each, I think, which is just like it's not been seen before, I don't think. So, yeah, go on. Just keep going.
Well, no. I think it's strange watching the teams like that. That I just sort of, it was like away at Villa. It was me and a good mate of mine. We were in the away end. We'd sorted on the day by people who saw me are fantastic people. I'm very lucky to know who I know. I don't take it granted for a second. But he gave us a bell on the day, and he sorted us, and that was made up. And I'd probably say about 80 minutes in, I was there thinking, "Oh, she hadn't sorted me. This is rubbish." But
2-1 down, were you? Were you 2-1 down at 80 minutes?
1-0.
1-0 down.
we're 1-0 down, and then Mane put this floating ball in the 86th minute, and Robbo headed it in. And then it was strange because we didn't look like scoring for 85 minutes. And as soon as we scored, I said, turn around to my mate and I went, we're going to win here. And it was like, just I just thinking, where's it going to come from? And you got the corner and you're there going, it's going to go in, this, isn't it? Something's going to happen, it's going to go in. And it went in. And obviously, I can't remember what happened. It was just a big blur, as it has been a few times. But it was just, but it was almost like I've watched. Obviously, I don't go on United games. I don't claim to have watched every game you've ever played. That'd be silly of me to say that. But from my view, the narrative of United is like Fergie time, and it don't matter here. Raggy United, raggy. They're going to win somehow, and it was almost like we won, and you weren't surprised as such. But I think that really, that game, because at one point we were losing, and then City were losing at home to Southampton, I think it was, and you were like, wow. Then in the space of about 5 or 10 minutes, they went 2-1 up, and then we're still losing. You're like, right, well, this is. I've seen a few people the same opinion on like Twitter who I follow and retweet onto the timeline. That's probably one of the biggest moments of the season when Mane nodded in that header, because it was almost like we'd give City a sniff of it and then grabbed it away from them, especially with the fact that we played them the week after, I think it was, at Anfield. We knew that was coming up and we knew what the crack was. Which obviously blew them away at Anfield. It was one of the best performances I've ever seen. Well, live especially. I think I think that's with us anyway. But at the moment we've been sort of the sort of way we've been playing. I say we've been quite slow in games, but when we have played well, we've just been an absolute joy to watch.
For the bulk of the season, like I couldn't bring myself to watch us. Like as a United fan, I was like, there's literally no point in me watching Liverpool game. When I was hearing them about, maybe they're getting a bit raggy, nicking results here and there. So I thought, let me watch one game in full and see what's actually going on here. I think it was a Bournemouth or something. I can't remember some game, and you created a ridiculous amount of chances. And then I'm thinking, right, they're making their own luck here. You know what I mean? It's not a fluke they're winning 2-1 or whatever. The game's 1-0. There might be a lucky equaliser from the opposition, but then they're getting that second goal because they create so much. Eventually, one chance is going to go in. Even the game against Atletico, which we'll come on to afterwards, but like that game, you must have had like so many crosses and so many chances made, and you hit the post, and etc. But you make your own luck, don't you? Ultimately in football, simple as that.
Well, of course, you're right what you say, mate. It's we've, like you said, we have got lucky at times. We had lucky bounces and lucky the way the ball's fallen to us and stuff like that. But like I said, it's almost a thing under Klopp now that we're relentless. And if you look at the amount of 90+ minute winners we've got from players not stopping, it's almost like they don't know when they're beaten. And it's because I'm not saying that they don't lose. We have lost games. Every team does. But it's almost like I said with the Villa game, it's 86 minutes in and we're 1-0 down, and the game ends with just 1-2-1. It's like they don't quite understand, which is the best thing I've ever seen. It's changed the mentality of, to be honest with you, from a few years back, and I used the term, he's weeded out the shithouses from that team with a complete loser mentality where we're 3-0 up and somehow don't win the game, which I just think is pathetic. The amount of times you see us, it came with sort of quite a typical trait of us to be winning 2-3-0 and not win the game. And I think fair enough, we were blowing teams away, and the football we were playing, it was absolute joy to watch going forward. But it was like every time I stepped foot in our half, your arse fell out, thinking something's going to happen here. And it was a lot of individual mistakes. I could make a list as long as my arm of people who've cost us stuff, but this one of them. It's but you sort of knew it was going to happen at some point.
Does your team's mentality now remind you of United a few years ago? Like you say, under Fergie, where never say die, always go to the 95th minute, not the 90th, but the 95th minute, and just keep going and plugging away, like you did at Old Trafford, 85th minute, 1-1 equaliser.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. Because again, that was another game I was at, and it was. I know you were there yourself in the home end, and it was absolutely terrible. It was. We only started playing them in the with 15 minutes to go when we brought Naby Keita out.
Oh, have we lost him? See if he comes back.
Should have been another 10 minutes. Got the Lana got the equaliser, but Oxlade-Chamberlain clipped the post at the 94th minute, and it was like you sort of came off. It was, even though it was that terrible of a performance, when we could have won that. Like even in the dying second, you could have won that. I don't. And it was a strange one. But yeah, it was. But what the biggest thing for us, in my opinion, that's changed under Klopp in the past, especially to see this season now and last season, is we've learned how to win from that winning position. So, like I was saying to you, when we're 2-3-0 up, and we'll go in, we're 2-3-0 up, and we're somehow not winning games, which you think, oh, what an absolute joy to watch, and for the neutral.
Yeah.
I couldn't give two shits about the neutral.
Yeah.
I don't care I don't care how boring it is for Derek from Stoke to watch Liverpool on telly. I only care about our result end of the day, and
Yeah.
I don't care what it's like. I don't care if it gives you value for money. It's I want to win, and that's what gets me. That's what gets me in my kicks at the end of the day. Going, oh, you won again. Admittedly, it's nice when you can play well and win, but it's like some of the games we've scraped through, and it's been horrible. It's like a sigh of relief at the end, rather than like a. But it is like we've learned how to sort of see out results, and that's from last season that I found. And what we did is where we were blowing teams away with this these wide players like Mane and Salah blowing teams away. Like I think the prime example of it I could think of is Roma in the semi-final at Anfield in the first leg of the semi, and we went 5-0 up, and you find up in the semi-final in the first leg, and you go, that's over. But then we let in 2 goals late on in the game, and you go, well, it's not all done now. And it's like, and then obviously, me and my mates, we went over to Roma for the away leg, and she 1-0 up early doors. I think we conceded 3 goals, and you're going like, what are you doing? And we ended up winning 7-6 on aggregate after being 5-0 up. And again, it was like that game. Obviously, I personally had never been to a European Cup final. I've been to Basel the year before, but not actual European Cup final. But it was like that was probably the least enjoyable game I've ever been to in my entire life, because it was absolutely horrible. Because I remember they scored in like the 95th minute, and you're like, it's 7-6, and you're like, we're winning 7-6 in aggregate after being 5-0 up. How on earth is this happening? So that's what he sort of got rid of, Klopp. That we'll go 2-3-0 up, and then it might be boring, but we slow the pace right down, and we're not. We've learned that you can be 2-3-0 up. You don't need to win 4-5-6. Just win, and that's what he sort of learned, and he taught. I don't obviously you've got all the other coaches there as well, but working together, they've taught the team how to slow it down and how to win games overall. Really,
it's that 7-6 there. You say, Roma had a 1% chance of scoring one more goal. They would have gone through on away goals probably. Maybe.
I think they might have done. I'm not sure, because as stupid as it sounds, it'd have been 5-2 in. No, it'd have gone to extra times. It'd been 5-2 in both games, which is
right.
absolutely
Yeah, this is bonkers.
ridiculous. I don't quite know how that happens,
But yeah, the 1% chance they had just brings me on to the standings now in the Premier League, and City have got that 1% chance of overtaking you, and that's sport, isn't it? Ultimately, that's what we watch it for. You know, could it happen? Might it happen? The bad run of form you were on after Watford and Chelsea and Atletico, and you know, could you have thrown it away? So moving on to that now, then, what's your opinion on handing Liverpool the title or not? If
my opinion.
I should say, if they call the season off, so if they call it null and void, should they hand Liverpool the title?
My opinion is the same as it always has been. I wouldn't want the title if they null and void it, purely based on the fact that even let's say jokes between friends didn't exist and ridicule with a team and banter, as people call it, and all that is.
Yeah.
You'd always been an aching feel in the back of your mind, going, "Well, we didn't actually win it." So, as I'd accept the title in 2 games' time if we'd mathematically won it. I'd accept it then, but we haven't actually won it. So, and forever and a day, we could go, "Oh, we won a title," then everyone just go, "We didn't actually, did you?"
Yeah, exactly.
Because even though it's a slim chance, we could still lose the next. How many games are left? 11 games, 9 games. We could still lose all them games. The City win all theirs, they win the title. You know what I mean? So it is physically possible.
Yeah.
Very, very unlikely, but it's physically possible. So you'd be ridiculed forever. We're in a complete catch-22 situation. We either get the title after being null and void, and we get the title. They turn around and they say, "Well, you didn't actually win it," which is fair enough. But then if we get it taken off us and it's null and voided, it would be like, well, a virus stopped you winning the title, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But it's right. It's right.
Yeah.
These things need to be done, and I just basically my answer to your question is I wouldn't want the title if unless if it was 2 games later and we'd physically won it, mathematically won it, then I'll have it. Until then, I don't want it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's my opinion on that.
Also, like, where do you draw the line as well? Like, whoever's in the top 4 now, do you give them top 4? You know what I mean? Like, Sheffield United got a game in hand. If they win it, they go above us, I think. Something outrageous like that. So, do they get Europa League? Do we not? Relegations, for me, the big one's relegation. Aston Villa have got a game in hand. If they win that game in hand, they go out. They go 16th, from 19th to 16th. And so I don't think you can just call it quits and give everyone the position they've got now. Like, I don't think you can start awarding like titles or even positions. I think you've got to either finish it or call the whole thing off as if it never happened and determine what happens, you know, thereafter. But what do you reckon is looking? Because obviously, you know, with the news 2-3 days ago of all the leagues below the conference or whatever, the results being expunged. So no promotion, no relegation, nothing. Obviously, they've actually done that and taken that decision. Obviously, there's a lot less money in those leagues compared to the Premier League and Championship, etc. But how, if you were in charge and say you were told that we'll be back to normal on, say, I don't know, say October, November time, for example, and we knew that on June the 30th that it's looking like November before we're back to normal, what would you do?
Well, this is. I'll tell you from 2 points of view. From a completely biased Liverpool fan's point of view, I'd do anything physically, mentally possible to finish the season so we can win it. But then I go into it and I think I've got my other opinion is I think that I don't see why there's a big hoo-ha about why are people so desperate to get rid of this season and start a new one, because it is not even finished yet. So why are you so bothered about this season? Not talking about next season. Well, next season they won't. It'll start. It'll start later. It'll start later. What about we just finish this one first because it's going to start later either way.
Yeah,
because
that's a good point. And you've got your TV kind of contracts as well. So BT and whatnot, they've all got their contracts to show the games that they've paid for. Otherwise, they won't give the company. You've got contracts, players' contracts, and everyone that ends on June the 30th anyway. So you've got that like curveball chucked in there. You've got the transfer window to contemplate. Like, you know, if you prolong the season, when does the transfer window start and end? So it's a bit of a madness, isn't it?
Well, this is it. I think, it's in my opinion again. I just don't see the reason. Take it however you want to take it, but the reason why anyone saying "oh, postpone it, null and void it" is because no one likes Liverpool and they don't want them to win the title.
Mm-hmm.
Reason why people do want to do it. It's not because there's better things to worry about. Yeah, there is. There's a lot more stuff to. What's going on at the moment is well more important than football. People's lives are more important than football. But when we're having a conversation, about it, why? What's the big rush? Why do you have to end it now? Why can't you carry on the season? Because it's not going to be. This COVID-19 pandemic doesn't have an end date. It's not, it's just going to stop on this date. No one knows. So why does it? Because, and the way I look at it as well, there was nine, I think it was 8 or 9 games played in December, Premier League games. So why can't they just prolong it by another month, whenever it is, and get all the games boxed off? Because then you've got your telly rights and everything else. Do you think the likes of Sheffield United will go, yeah, it's all right, just jib the league and we'll start again? I don't think so, because even if they don't have Champions League, if like Sheffield United get European football, what that'll do for their club financially, it'll lift them to new heights. So it's teams like that people say, oh yeah, just get rid of the league, it don't matter. And that's very well easy to say because your team's rubbish compared to what. And it is. I say that from a point of view that my team's best in the league, and it could go down as one of the best teams that the Premier League's ever seen. And the standard league's rubbish. Oh, was it rubbish when City got 100 points? Was it rubbish when United won 3 consecutive titles, or was it 2 or 3 consecutive titles? Was it rubbish then? No, it wasn't, was it? So. That's just a poor, not really well thought out opinion.
Yeah.
But you need to get this season needs to be finished. For the integrity in the competition as well, because that's like saying, well, actually, what we'll do is actually we don't want that team to do well, so we'll all just vote and go, yeah, we don't want to doing this.
Yeah.
So I just think I think it is wrong because as much as people don't want us to do well, we've been absolutely superb. We've broken records left, right, and centre, and no matter what it is, you can't take that away from us. That's my opinion on that, anyway. But
yeah, no, it's a good point. I think they're saying that the experts that are advising the government from Sage, they're saying that it's going to be the best part of a year that we're in social isolation. So for as long as that's a thing, which could be you're looking at Halloween-ish onwards. It's looking like football's not coming back until probably next year because, as in the next calendar year, 2021, because you've got the simple fact that if there's carriers out there and one person, like when Arteta was announced, that weekend of Premier League football, we were playing Spurs. That was all going ahead. What was it now? 2 weeks ago, isn't it? But
it seems like an eternity, but yeah.
It's only been 2 weeks. Yeah, literally, we were supposed to play them 2 weeks tomorrow, but yeah, if it's looking like that, I kind of agree with you in the sense that in 9 games, you can bash it out in a month and start again, and it's just they've got. So I think whatever decision they make, I think unfortunately money will be at the heart of it, whether it's to do with the contracts, the transfer window, buying, selling players. All of that comes into it, and the TV rights is a big one because the TV rights, that's what distinguishes the Premier League from every other league definitely domestically, if not the world. So that's going to be at the heart of a big, the main decision that is made. But I think the Premier League have got to be tough and go with whatever they think is the right thing to do, like you said, for the integrity of the game, because ultimately that's the main thing.
Well, I think that's it as well, and I think but it all unfortunately, and it unfortunately it does all come down to money because when the Premier League signed that £5 billion contract for television and television rights and whatnot, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it was a £5 billion contract, and then all the other clubs got all the televisions, and BT Sport and Sky Sports being your main one, aren't just going to turn around and go, all right, then no worries, we've just wasted millions and millions and millions. That's okay, you do what you want. They'll have a massive say in what happens because how much money they've invested. There'll be contracts signed all over. It's again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it won't just be someone sat down in the Premier League with BT Sport taking someone's word for it, will it? It's going to be millions of pounds for contracts written up, even billions of pounds for contracts written up, which will say this, 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 and this, and it won't just happen. As I say, you've got people like the likes of Karen Brady at West Ham. She's just a selfish businesswoman. I challenge. I put it out there. If someone does have a good opinion of Karen Brady, then give me a shout. Let me know what it is, because I don't think I can find anyone who does, especially West Ham fans. She's just. Say it again, sorry.
Even people that watch The Apprentice don't like her.
No, this is it. No one likes her. She's just a selfish old Tory, and it's all about me. And at the end of the day, that's what it is, and it's she's thinking about because I'll say that West Ham will probably go down because they're terrible. And they've got a good set of fans. All West Ham, they've got a very good core of fans. I know, like myself, from going there a few times, and I've spoken to a couple of them. They know the stuff. Obviously, it's die-off football, and I don't think I've heard. Again, I don't think I've heard one positive review about moving to that Olympic Stadium from Upton Park, Bowling Ground, whatever you want to call it, because it was all money orientated. And basically, I'm going off a tangent a little bit, but everything that she does, everything she said, is going off a completely selfish, money-orientated point of view. She doesn't have a Scooby-Doo about football and the fans and what it means to them. As long as she gets her pockets lined, then she's all right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the owners will be like that. Most of all ours probably, with the Glazers, because the debt that we've got, they need that TV money. Do you know what I mean?
Of course they do.
So I think, I don't know, man. I know it's in their interest to not see Liverpool do well as well and all that, and a lot of vested interest come into it, a lot of bias. So I don't know how they're going to decide it, whether it's going to be majority or if it has to be unanimous. I don't know. But yeah, you mentioned, you're not a lawyer. So what? Just obviously, I know what you do, but just tell these guys what exactly do you do, and how's work been for you recently?
Well, I'm a joiner for a social housing company, and it's basically going into social housing. It's maintenance, repairs. So a lot of our work now has just come down to, it's just been halted really at the moment. We're not doing anything. We're obviously, the company I work for as a duty care, as a landlord, to supply emergency works, as they call it. So anything that's a threat to life or security, or you know what I mean. They have to go out and carry that out, but then we've had emails after emails from HR and people services and like health and safety, and instead like they've got certain PPE for us to wear and things like that. So that's it. That's what they do in the call center when someone's ringing up for a job. We're sort of on call at home, if you will. So if there's a job in my area, well, near where I live, they'll ring me and say, "Oh, can you go and do it?" And you've been provided with the appropriate PPE, so masks and suits, and the people on the call centre are being asked, they've got like a script to read from, asking if they're showing any symptoms of COVID-19, anything like that. So if it's or if there's any, in the rarity that it is at the moment, if there's any actually confirmed cases, then we have to go in with all the suited up and masks, which again, you're just taking precautions. It's but it's only if very necessary. The work is, as far as this is what I would class as working from home at the moment, because we're just on call, if you will.
That's good.
But all other jobs have been postponed for now.
So what kind of things are classed as, obviously I know it's a simple question, but just for the viewers, what kind of things are classed as emergencies in your line of work?
It could be stuff like leaks. It could be leaks, so obviously it can cause significant damage. It could be like boarding up a window. So if a window been potted and the glass everywhere, you go and clean it up and put a board in it. Just so it's anything that's unsafe, if you will. If someone, it could be something as simple as someone has a window in a lounge that can't lock. So someone from the outside gain access, or front doors aren't shutting properly. So it's stuff like security issues and the stuff that is a threat to life and stuff like that. It's a threat to life. It sounds quite dramatic, but just what it comes under, what category it falls under. But it's just stuff like that, really. It's nothing. It's not like it's nothing particularly joinery orientated now. So if it was like we had appointments to go and fit new worktops in kitchens, that's been postponed because it doesn't need doing. It doesn't matter. It's people can. It's like you can have jobs. You get jobs some days where, I don't know, a lounge door isn't shutting properly, and the latch might be broken, or the keeper might be out, and you need to adjust it. That doesn't matter. So, and it's stuff like that that's being kicked back until until a time indefinitely. It's being kicked. Well, it's being postponed indefinitely because no one knows when it's going to blow over, and it's going to be safe to sort of go out again. But I mean that's what happened with us, and I say I don't think we'll ever see anything like this again in our lifetime. It's quite bizarre actually that we're having this conversation, but it is. It's quite that I just as the way I look at it is, as long as me and my family and friends are safe, then that's the main thing, and I'll do everything I can to make sure that carries on. So I'm just keeping myself to myself and doing what I'm doing. This is it. If I get it, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, I don't know about it. I might have underlying health issues, but as long as my family are okay, I don't want to spread it to anyone and it become more of an issue for them and stuff like that. But what are your work doing then?
So we're still operating because of the stuff that we sell. So I work for AO. So the stuff that we sell, the electrical appliances, they're key things. A lot of them like fridge, freezers, cookers. You've got your things that people just need every day, washing machines, even things that you can't really live without. Even TVs now, really, you could argue with TV because the fact that if you're elderly and you're in all day, especially if you're self-isolated in your own room, TV is kind of a necessity to pass the time. Otherwise you'll go bored out of your mind, really. So yeah, that's why we are able to keep operating, but. Yeah, since the announcement from Johnson on TV the other night, that 5-minute announcement when he kind of stressed the importance of staying at home, we've changed our policy so that we're delivering the majority of things just to the doorstep. So health and safety now is just a top priority for all our customers and for our drivers, because if our drivers get it, they can't deliver the stuff, and if our customers get it, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. So. Yeah, it's just unprecedented. Like it's just absolutely madness to be a part of it. Like it's stuff you watch on Netflix, or there's that film in The Contagion people are watching, and you've got your Pandemic, whatever it's called, on Netflix as well. That series, it's just weird, man, being a part of it. But yeah, the stuff that we sell, we're still going as a business, which is good. It gives me something to do as well. Taking calls at home, working from home. I mean, I'm blessed. Like. Working from home because I've got a laptop and I can keep doing my normal job, and I actually prefer it here working from home. Got a little speaker here, keep it sound like a work environment, so I don't mind it too much. And ultimately, yeah, it is just weird, but we just got to get on with it and stay safe. That's the main thing. Like you say, if you do think you've got symptoms, you've got to just keep yourself to yourself, and that's it. But the main thing is just staying at home and only going out when you need to. Like I went to Aldi today, and there was queues. Like you have to queue outside to get into Aldi. It's mad, and you've got to keep your distance. So we are doing the right thing. Finally. But yeah, it's the number of cases increasing, which is sad in terms of deaths as well. But hopefully we get through it. I've seen India as well. I don't know if you've seen the news. India, obviously, they've got like the population over there is like 20 times the population of what we've got here. So it's
Yeah.
absolutely over there trying to get food and stuff. They're trying to give them 2, 3 meals a day, and it's crazy because I was there a month ago. I'm just thinking, I keep thinking, what if I was there now? Literally on the 21st of Feb, I got back into the UK. And now it's what, 28th of March. So 5 weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was in that country. And yeah, it's just, you got to count your blessings, man, because you just never know. You just never know. But yeah, your family all good, yeah? Oh, have we lost him? Oh, here he is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, mate, froze for a second then.
Yeah, just for a second. Yeah, no, I just saying about India, but then yeah, just saying your family and friends all good as well, yeah.
Yeah, well, well, currently we're sort of on lockdown because my mum works. My mum works at the hospital near us, so and she had symptoms, and the NHS they need all the staff in at all times. So if
Yeah,
anyone is going off with symptoms of it, they're able to test them because they can't. It's not like an excuse for throwing a sickie, going, "Oh yeah, well, I've got symptoms." It's been if someone says, "Well, I've got symptoms," or one of my family members have got symptoms, they can test them other family members to make sure they haven't. So therefore, they have to be in work because they need all hands at go at all times.
yeah. This is
Um,
like
so my,
we've seen a lot of the like rich and famous, if you like, that have had these tests almost immediately. You've had your Idris Elbas, you've had your royalty figures, and you've got key workers like NHS people, like your mum, and unable to get the tests, as quickly as they should be having them. Really, they're the priority, in majority of people's eyes because they're treating, our loved ones, our population. So yeah, it's a bit mad, isn't it?
well, this is it. I question this to my mum, obviously working in hospital. I asked this question straight away, going, why is it that these random people, well, obviously the high-end celebrities, but I couldn't walk into a hospital and go, right, I want to test for this, but they're getting tested straight away and showing symptoms and stuff like that. I thought it was a bit strange
Idris
that.
Elba,
Um,
Idris Elba had no symptoms.
this is it. I got told that it was something to he was filming for something, and then they went round on set testing people, and obviously he showed symptoms. But the mad thing about it is, obviously, I've watched like, cause I love Idris Elba, mate, and it's I've
Yeah,
watched um I've watched like these videos on Instagram and people. I think he did an Instagram live video the other day, and someone said to him like, "You can ask questions at the bottom, can't you?" And he answers them, and he said like, "So how you been feeling?" He said, "To be honest with you, I felt a little bit heady and a little bit like bit bunged up on the first day. But I've not felt anything the entirety of it, which is mad, really, because this is it. But he's taking it seriously and self isolated because it doesn't matter that it might not affect you because that hasn't affected him. But it's the people that it can affect. That's what
exactly.
who needs to stay home for. So
Yeah,
it's like, well, because obviously my mum worked in hospital, she got a test, and unfortunately, it came back as positive. Um, so we're just being careful now to not do anything. So we can't even go to shops. So we're having to get friends, family to do that for us. Who, well, I mean, on a that's it. But obviously it's an awful shame. But my mum at the moment, touch wood, she's not been too bad. She's felt a bit. bit groggy today, but nothing of any significance. Not nothing that you'd think,
That's good.
oh God, you know, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but it can affect people differently. So this is it. So
That's the thing. We
I
saw,
mean, yeah,
me and you were talking earlier about that 21-year-old girl. It was on Sky News, wasn't it? No underlying conditions or known underlying conditions, but she could have had some. You know what I mean? And you just never know. You just never know. That's why you can't underplay the seriousness of what is going on and just be blasé about it, because ultimately, if it comes back and bites you on the what, then, and it happens to one of your family members, then you won't be blasé about it anymore. But it's too late then. You know what I mean? We all have to be sensible now and act now, because when it's too late, you know what I mean. It gets difficult and harder to forgive. But yeah, man.
well, of course it does, man. That you're right. What you say, though, it's this is why you need to act now, because people banging on saying, oh, well, it's because it is inconvenient. Like, no one wants this thing to happen, this pandemic. It's inconvenient to everyone.
Mm.
But unless you're the is it the 5% who of self-employed who aren't being properly funded for work, which I couldn't imagine being in that situation. That's horrible. I don't agree with it at all.
I think a lot of them, Sunak said, a lot of them are like, they earn 200 grand or more, to be fair. But I think there are people that are falling through the net, though, like me and you know about. But yeah, speaking generally, I think, yeah, it's them people you've got to feel for, because ultimately the government can't or won't, I don't know, help everyone. And, we know about universal credit, and, £94.25p a week is nothing. Like, it won't cover most people's rent, never mind food. So, yeah, it's getting a bit mad. And I don't know. The scary thing is, I don't think we've peaked yet. That's the problem.
Well, I think this is it as well. I think this country. I mean, you've talked about it a few times. This country, this nation, or whatever you want to name it as, a sort of a small man mentality that, oh, it doesn't matter, we'll be okay anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just no, just try taking other people, try putting other people first for a change, and actually try thinking about what this might do to someone else. Because, like I said, we expressed our views in my workplace to higher management when before this lockdown got put on. We said, well, why are we going into people's properties that we could potentially pick it up from or pass it on to? Because I go into people's houses from, they can be 18 when they sign up for a social housing lease, or they can be 100. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't, anywhere between the age of over 18, you can sign up for a lease. So why am I? So I'm going to houses with 80, 90-year-olds that are classed in these high risk brackets. I don't want to pass something on to them, because I mean, it's not, and it's nothing to do with not wanting to work or being lazy or anything like that. You give me something to do at home. I know that's a hard ask, but because we're being a joiner, but it's, if I do work, I do whatever you need to do. I just don't want to pass something on to people that
because your
could potentially have it.
Your conscience, it'd be messed up.
Well, this is it. It is. I've been brought up. I liked in the right way by a loving mum and a loving dad, that I actually care about other people and what happens to them. It's not just about me, and oh, I'll be okay. So it's because I'm just not like that. That's not the way I've been brought up, and that's not the way that's not what's been instilled into me, to just not care about anyone else and I'll be fine. I do care about other people. I care about my mates, my family, and it's like I don't like to see anyone. Oh, I'm not saying I'm not trying to make out I'm some sort of saying. I'm not like that. I'm not like I've never said anything bad about people. What I mean is when it comes to the overall population, we've got to stick together and look after each other, and that's what I like to try and do.
That's it.
But just going, well, I don't care about for something that a job that doesn't need doing, and I could be potentially putting people's lives at risk. Then
It's not worth it.
But this is it. It's not like a zombie apocalypse film where I breathe on him and they start foaming at the mouth. It's not like, you know what I mean. It's not something silly like that. But but they could talk to someone or because it meant I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I've read something about it. Apparently, you can live on services for up to 3 days. So if I go into someone's house and touch something and I have it, or they have it and I touch it, then pass it on to you know what I mean. I just think, what's the point? Just eliminate all jobs that just don't need doing, and obviously just do the jobs that are a necessity, an emergency, and it's your duty of care to carry out as a landlord. That's all. That's my opinion on it. But I just think that people are being pushed into a corner. I think these self-employed people are being pushed into a corner because no one in the right mind could call them selfish for. See, if someone who's being paid that 80% of the wage by the government, if they choose to go out and do what they're doing, then they are selfish. That's there's no way two ways about it. But Joe Bloggs around the corner, who's a self-employed plumber, if he doesn't get his money, he can't pay his rent because he doesn't come under that certain. There's a small percentage that don't come under that bracket of.
Yeah, a little blip there. Sorry, guys, but no, you were saying about the self-employed, those that don't have a contract as such. If they don't have any money essentially to go off, then universal credit is nothing, is it really?
Well, this is it. Like I said, it's like luckily we fall under the 80%, like the bracket with it, we 80% of our pay. So it doesn't matter for me either way. I can afford to live. I can afford to pay my bills and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm still living at home at the moment, but that besides the point, I can still pay for what I need to pay for. So, if someone in my position, my point is, if someone in my position, if I was to go out trying to do what I want to do because I can't be arsed with this quarantine shit, I can't be arsed with all that, then I'm selfish. That is selfish. But like I said, the Joe Blogg's a self-employed plumber as such. If he's not getting paid, he doesn't go to work every day and graft his bollocks off because it's a, you know what, I all the money I need and I'll just do it for credit for free. And it's not like that.
No.
He does it to be able to live. And so it's them people who you can't, it's a weird one really because they can still be spreading this thing, but they have no other choice. And they're not being supported. So what they do go, well, so they do sort of have to put themselves first in that sense to be able to actually live. And so some of these people might live with a girlfriend and the girlfriend still earns money, but they still have bills to pay for. So, but what about these people who have kids to feed, mouths to feed? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do they do?
Exactly.
And that's where the government's let people down, because obviously Boris and his gang are all fantastic now. They've decided to pay people 80% of their wages.
Yeah, exactly. This is this is what we've heard. People say, well, now's not the time to criticize them, but this is the time because this is ultimately their job and they're the ones in charge. This is what they're literally paid to do, to take charge of the country. And times of crisis are just part and parcel of that job. I wouldn't say he's as bad as Trump, which is,
no, nothing's as bad as Trump.
It's not a mean feat by any stretch of the imagination, but there is always more that they can do. It's just it is a balancing act, but they've got to just try and help as many people as possible because you can't have people, suffering through something that's no fault of their own ultimately.
Well, this is it. It's wherever this virus came from, it isn't people's fault. Well, the majority of people's fault from over here. It isn't anyone's fault where it came from. No. And it doesn't really matter. They have to do the bit. And these people, these self-employed people who are being told to stay home, if they got told actually, we'll pay you what we'll pay you the 80%, they'd stay home because. Yeah. But when you're being backed into a corner, it's a survival instinct. You have to do what you've got to do. You have to survive. So,
Yeah.
but the government funding them, it's going to cost the government less to fund them and pay them the money that they would have made. That, well, 80% of the, you know what I mean, 80% of the going rate, than they would. Well, the money they'll lose anyway from the economy from delaying it for longer for this the whole COVID-19 situation. So, because the longer this goes on, the longer this goes on, the more it costs the government, the more money it costs the government. So therefore, all these people are self-employed going out spreading this virus. That's saying they got it. They can go and spread it. Well, if you pay these people up and then therefore they don't go to work, then it's going to cut down the spread and everything else that goes along with it.
That's it, and it's going to benefit the population, you know, as a whole. But yeah, man, I think it's not looking like it's going to go away anytime soon. But are you? Oh, is he gone?
No.
No, we got him back.
Sorry, mate.
No, yeah. It's all right. You ready to hang in there for a good few months?
Got to do what you got to do, isn't it, mate? It's as I say, it's going back onto the whole thing of it. It's the football. The football is the last thing that matters when it comes to life and death.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Obviously, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. That's not the way it does. But people are allowed to have conversations about it, and I'm not selfish to say I want you want the league to carry on. That's not selfish.
No.
But my opinion is it just needs to be delayed for as long as it needs to be delayed for. But overall, it doesn't really matter. I think the thing that matters at the moment is people looking after each other, and the best way for the thing is, it sounds weird, but I could be looking after someone in Portsmouth by not going outside. You know what I mean? Not going in, and not social interacting, because you don't know. It's like you have these long distance lorry drivers and stuff like that. I could pass it to someone who knows them, who knows them, who knows someone else through that, and then pass it to them. Then they go other side of the country, and then they do this and do that, and it goes to someone.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Other side of the country. So it's just everyone's helping it. It's everyone helping each other out. It's just looking after each other.
That's it.
And just realizing that there is more important things. But one of the best things I've seen on Twitter over these last few weeks was some ill-informed idiot just come out and saying like, well, what do you expect me to put my life on hold? And someone just replied going, yes, that's the fucking point. And it do you know what I mean? That's exactly what's being asked of me. Yeah, it's not. Sorry. Are we inconveniencing just you? I forgot about that. And I think, as strange as it sounds, I think in these times that we've never experienced, I don't think we'll have experienced again. I think it does help that knowing that the likes of you and like one of my best mates and the rest of my best mates are going through it as well. It's not like it's just me that's stuck in it. You know what I mean? It's, I think that this is it. I think it does help that. I think especially the mental health side of things when you're thinking, right, well, I'm pretty much stuck in the same four walls all day here, and I've got to be stuck inside. And it's not that, oh, if I go outside, people will call me selfish. I don't care about what people think. I care about what will actually happen if I do it. So it's not impressing the internet and like open at the internet thinking I'm a good person. It's actually caring about human beings apart from myself, and that's why I'm not doing it. But it's a scary time, mate. And like you said, you just have to hang in there. I don't know what much more you can do.
We don't have a choice, and I couldn't have put it better myself. It's it takes a global effort. I think some people just don't know what a pandemic actually means, and you think like it's scary really, but we've got to do whatever we've got to do. And the best way we can be part of this society now is by not being part of this, by not being part of the society, by staying indoors. Simple as that. If you want to do your bit, stay at home unless absolutely necessary. It's as simple as that. But no, man, it's been good catching up with you. That was one reason why I actually thought I'd do these kind of vids and try and get as many people on as possible. Ultimately, because mental health is massively important. Like you said, staying at the same four walls every day, it can drive you a bit crazy. No matter how lucky we are, ultimately we've all got to try and stay sane and keep each other positive, and however long this lasts, just keep going, and we'll get out of it the other side eventually. But for the time that we're in it, we've just got to focus on the here and now, and that's why I thought doing these videos would be a good idea. Try and get as many people on as possible, and see what happens really. But yeah, man, it was good catching up with you. Any final words of wisdom?
Best thing I can think to describe the whole situation, mate, is unity is strength. And I think people look out for each other and it'll all be over a lot quicker than, you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
The power of people is very strong when it wants to be, and
100%.
If people look after each other, we'll get through it.
There's a Somali proverb that goes along the lines of, if humans all work together, they could mend a crack in the sky. So I think we'll leave it.
I've never heard that. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, man. It's true though, like the meaning behind it. But yeah, I mean, we've got to all work together. Yeah, man. It was good talking to you again. But yeah, hopefully see you on the channel again next time. You up for that?
Brilliant, mate. I've enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's not been too bad. All right. I'll see you next time, mate. Take care.
Brilliant. Nice one, mate. Take care, mate. Nice one.
In a bit. Bye.